My grandmother used to walk into her garden every morning. No gloves, no fancy tools, no chemicals, just her hands, the soil, and wisdom passed down. She didn't rush. She observed. She would touch the leaves, feel the moisture in the soil, and quietly decide what each plant needed, almost like she was having a conversation with the earth itself. Back in the village, nothing was wasted. Vegetable peels from the kitchen, buried into the soil, dry leaves that fell from trees, gathered and spread like a blanket to protect the ground, even ashes from the fire. She would sprinkle them gently, saying it feeds the soil in its own way. At the time, it felt simple, almost too ordinary to matter. But now, looking back, it was a system, a rhythm, a deep understanding of nature that didn't depend on stores, labels, or instructions. And somehow, her garden always thrived. Not just survived, thrived. The vegetables were stronger. The soil was darker, softer, full of life. There were fewer pests, and when they showed up, she didn't panic. She adjusted. She trusted the balance. Today, we've replaced that wisdom with quick solutions. Bags of fertilizer, bottles of chemicals, step-by-step instructions that promise instant results. But in chasing speed, many people have lost connection. The soil becomes dependent, plants become weaker, and gardening starts to feel complicated, even frustrating. But what if the answer isn't more products? What if it's remembering? Because the truth is, healthy soil doesn't come from a store. It comes from what you return to it. You don't need to start big. Start small. Next time you cook, don't throw away your vegetable scraps, save them. Let your dry leaves stay on the ground a little longer. If you have access to wood ash, use it lightly and wisely. Begin to observe your garden, not just manage it. Because once you shift from controlling your garden to understanding it, everything changes. And maybe, just maybe, you'll start to see what my grandmother always knew, that the secret to a thriving garden was never hidden. We just stopped paying attention. Today, many people are gardening the hard way. We wake up early, head to the store, and load up on bags of fertilizer, pesticides, and all sorts of products that promise quick results. We follow the instructions to the letter, measuring, pouring, spraying, hoping that the soil and plants will finally cooperate. And yet, sometimes, despite all that effort, nothing grows the way we imagined. A few leaves turn yellow, seedlings wilt, flowers fail to bloom, fruits don't set, and it can feel like the garden is mocking us, like we're failing. Despite doing everything right, we struggle with soil that feels tired, compacted, or lifeless. We fight pests that seem to adapt faster than our sprays can reach them. We measure success in pounds of fertilizer instead of the health of the earth beneath our feet. Gardening has become transactional. Step 1, Step 2, Step 3. Add this chemical, water that plant, and hope for results. It's no wonder many people give up after a season or two. Frustration wins, and we start thinking we're not good at it. But here's the truth. It was never meant to be this complicated. Gardening isn't about controlling nature, it's about working with it. It's not about overpowering the soil with chemicals or forcing growth with expensive products. It's about understanding the rhythm of the earth, noticing what your plants need, and giving back what the soil is asking for. The irony is that in trying to shortcut the process with fertilizers and sprays, we often make the soil weaker, the plants more fragile, and the struggle even harder. We forget the simple things that matter: letting the soil breathe, returning organic matter, observing how sunlight moves through our garden, and trusting the natural balance that's been there long before us. Gardening was never meant to be a battle. It was meant to be a conversation, a partnership. And when we lose sight of that, even the most expensive fertilizers can't save us. The good news: there's a way back. By paying attention, by returning organic matter, and by connecting with the soil instead of just treating it like a problem to solve, we can restore abundance, resilience, and joy in our gardens. We don't need more products. We need the right approach. And the best part, it's available to anyone, no matter the size of your garden, your budget, or your experience. Because the solution isn't complicated. It's simple, natural, and it works just like it did for generations before us. The secret, they knew, was simple. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't a brand new fertilizer. It wasn't a spray or a gadget. Feed the soil, not just the plant. Think about that for a moment. We've been obsessed with feeding plants directly. Pour this chemical, Sprinkle that nutrient, but the plant can only thrive if the soil itself is alive, rich, and full of balance. Our grandparents didn't just grow plants, they built living soil. Every peel, every leaf, every scrap of kitchen waste, every dry branch or leftover ash, it went back into the earth. Not because they were trying to follow instructions, but because they understood something deep. Healthy soil equals healthy plants. They watched the earth breathe. They felt its texture, its moisture, its temperature. They knew when it needed a blanket of mulch or a sprinkle of compost. They let worms, insects, and microbes do their work. They created a tiny ecosystem in every garden bed. And that's why their gardens thrived. No chemical overload. No forced growth. Just life soil teeming with nutrients. Plants growing strong and resilient. And a balance that even pests respected. This is the forgotten secret. The moment we stop trying to control every leaf, every pest, every droplet of rain and instead start nurturing the soil, magic happens. You don't have to have acres. You don't have to buy expensive amendments. Start where you are. Add your vegetable scraps and coffee grounds to a small compost pile or worm bin. Spread fallen leaves or grass clippings as mulch to protect and feed your soil. Use a little wood ash if you have it. It slowly returns minerals to the earth. Observe. Touch the soil. Feel it. Smell it. Learn its rhythm. These small steps rebuild the living foundation your plants need. And soon, you'll notice, seedlings are stronger, leaves are greener, the soil is soft and dark, and the garden hums with life. It's not just gardening, it's restoration. When you feed the soil, you're feeding generations of abundance. You're stepping into a practice that predates chemicals, bypasses complexity, and reconnects you to something deeper. This is the wisdom our grandparents lived by. And the moment we remember it, gardening becomes not a struggle, but a joy. The soil doesn't just hold your plants, it holds your patience, your care, your attention, and it rewards you with growth that lasts. Here's what they did: nothing complicated, nothing expensive, just simple actions that worked because they respected the earth. They returned organic waste to the soil, peels from vegetables, leftover grains, even eggshells, all buried or added to compost piles. Nothing was wasted. Everything became food for the soil. They used compost without calling it compost. They didn't need fancy labels or bags. Kitchen scraps, fallen leaves, and garden debris slowly turned into rich, dark soil full of life. They called it feeding the garden, and it worked better than any chemical. They covered the soil with leaves to keep it alive. Mulching wasn't a trend, it was common sense. Leaves, straw, or grass clippings acted like a blanket, protecting moisture, keeping temperature stable, and feeding tiny creatures underground. They avoided disturbing the soil too much. They dug, yes, but only when necessary. They didn't turn the earth into a barren battlefield. Soil structure, microbes, and worms stayed intact, quietly doing their work. Simple actions, but powerful results. The soil stayed alive. Plants grew strong. Pests were less of a problem because the ecosystem was balanced. And the garden produced abundantly year after year. The beauty of it, anyone can do this, no matter the size of your garden, your budget, or your experience level. It doesn't require chemicals, complicated schedules, or expensive gadgets. It only requires observation, patience, and the willingness to give back to the soil that gives to us. You don't need expensive products to grow a healthy garden. In fact, the more natural you go, the easier it becomes. Instead of worrying about the latest fertilizer, pesticide, or growth enhancer, you focus on what really matters: life in the soil. The worms, the microbes, the fallen leaves, all of them working quietly beneath the surface to feed your plants. Start small. Save your kitchen scraps and add them to the soil. Let leaves or straw stay as mulch instead of tossing them. Give the soil time to breathe, don't overwork it. You'll notice the difference. Seedlings grow stronger, leaves stay greener, and the garden feels alive. Gardening becomes less about control and more about connection. It's about listening to your garden, not forcing it. And here's the secret most gardeners today miss: the healthier your soil, the less you have to do. No expensive fertilizers, no complicated instructions, just simple, consistent care. Your garden starts to reward you with abundance, resilience, and joy, just like it did for our grandparents. The best part, you're not just growing plants, you're building life, restoring balance, and reconnecting with a rhythm that has worked for generations. Once you embrace this approach, gardening stops being a chore and becomes a deeply satisfying, almost magical experience. Maybe the problem isn't that gardening is hard. Maybe the problem is that we've forgotten the simple wisdom that once made it easy. The wisdom that our grandparents lived by. The kind that didn't need instructions, fertilizers, or labels. It was in the way they observed the soil, noticed the balance, and treated every scrap, leaf, and peel as precious. It was in the patience to watch seedlings grow, the understanding that life in the soil is what fuels life above it. We've complicated things. We've chased results with chemicals, gadgets, and schedules, forgetting that the soil itself is the real hero of the garden. When you return to that simplicity, feeding the soil, covering it, nurturing it, you rediscover something magical. Gardening doesn't have to be a struggle. It can be joyful. It can be restorative. It can connect you to a rhythm that has worked for generations, long before stores and chemicals existed. And in that connection, you'll see results you can feel, taste, and touch. Plants growing stronger, soil richer, and your own confidence in what you do growing too. Maybe we just need to remember and start again. If this reminded you of how things used to be, hit like, subscribe, share this with someone who loves to garden, or someone struggling to make their garden thrive. Because sometimes, the old ways are still the best ways. Because simplicity works. Because feeding the soil first changes everything. And when we embrace what's natural, what's simple, and what's wise, gardening stops being a task and becomes a joy. So start small, pay attention, and trust the earth. Your garden will thank you. Your soul will thank you. And you'll remember what generations before us knew all along. That abundance doesn't come from chemicals, instructions, or shortcuts. It comes from care, observation, and connection. So go ahead, reconnect, start feeding the soil today, and watch what grows.